As I mentioned earlier, these two phones are being touted as budget phones, but in reality, that's far from the case. They are budget models for their respective lineup, sure, but will still cost you at least $750. The good news is there's not a whole lot of sacrifice in terms of features and specifications between each phone and their higher end counterparts. Compare the two phones against each other, and you do get a few slight differences. For example, both phones run the latest and greatest chipsets, with the iPhone XR carrying the A12 Bionic chip and the s10e going with the Snapdragon 855. From here, things start to get a little bit different. The s10e offers up 6 GB of RAM compared to the iPhone's 3 gigs, and the $750 starting price tag only gets you 64 gigs of internal storage on the iPhone XR, while the s10e offers double that at 128 gigs and has a micro SD card slot, so you could expand your storage even more for a lot less. Those are the differences on the inside, but if you turn to the outside, more specifically to the front of the phone, you have two pretty different displays. The most obvious difference is the cutout on each phone. The iPhone XR has the notch cutout, which is much larger than Samsung's hole punch. Even though at this point in my life, neither cutout design bothers me, I would be lying if I didn't say that the s10e's version is much less intrusive and a better option. Now, cutouts aside, the displays themselves are also drastically different. The s10e has a 5.8-inch 2280 by 1080 AMOLED display, which seems just as crisp, vibrant, and beautiful as the other more expensive S10 models, with the only difference being the full HD resolution as opposed to QHD. The XR offers an LCD panel and is not even full HD, coming in at 1792 by 828, but is slightly larger at 6.1 inches. So if you look at the display by itself, it's a really good looking panel despite what the specs tell you. When you look at it next to other displays, the difference is pretty obvious as one would expect, especially when you put it next to the s10e. I prefer Samsung's displays even over the higher end iPhone XS and XS Max models, and it's no different with these two phones. The rest of the form factor will most likely be personal preference. The s10e is a lot smaller than the XR and feels a lot lighter, but kind of less premium compared to the XR, even though that's not really the case. I'd probably attribute that to the difference in weight. I do like the smaller form factor on the s10e. It's a lot more one-handed friendly, which is always a plus. The size and feel is much more like the iPhone XS, which is my personal preference when it comes to phone size. One quick thing to note, both phones have biometric authentication available for unlocking your device, mobile payments, etc. But upon first glance, and if you didn't know anything about either phone going into it, you wouldn't know what each device offered. The S10 and S10 Plus have an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner underneath the screen. That's not the case on the S10e. The S10e sensor is actually built right into the power button, which is on the right-hand side of the phone. It's very fast, a perfect placement if you're right-handed, sorry if you're left-handed, and it works really well. A lot better than the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner in my opinion. It's far more accurate, and like I said before, it's really, really quick. The XR has the true depth camera system that's on the XS and XS Max that allows for Face ID, Animoji, and Memoji, etc. Face ID is very quick and accurate as well. It's going to come down to personal preference here, and I'm personally torn on this one. There is Face Unlock on a Samsung device, but it's not nearly as secure or fast like the sensor. Finally, the last major differences lie within the cameras. The S10e offers a dual camera system on the back, which will give you wide and ultra wide lenses, but removes the telephoto option found on the S10 and S10 Plus. The iPhone XR only has a single lens available, which is a wide angle lens, and even though both phones offer portrait modes, the iPhone XR uses software and image processing to achieve a portrait effect, while the S10e takes advantage of both hardware lenses. I'm not a huge fan of the wide angle portrait mode shots, but since there are no telephoto options on either phone, this is what you're stuck with. As far as my overall thoughts on the cameras, for portrait mode, the S10e does a better job, but it has the advantage with more hardware capabilities compared to Apple's software and the single lens. And because of the hardware, you are not limited to portraits of just people and can take those photos of your pets and objects on the S10e, unlike on the iPhone XR. As far as the other photos go, the iPhone XR does a better job at color accuracy and not overexposing or washing out images like on the S10e. These are actually the same thoughts that I had when we compared the S10 Plus camera to the iPhone XS Max, which I'll actually leave linked here or down in the description if you're interested in seeing that video. So if you have no preference to software or that fancy Apple ecosystem that everyone is always talking about, then go ahead and pick up the Samsung Galaxy S10e. It's a bit more phone for the price, and I'd be lying if I didn't say it was the better option of the two. So let me know which phone you like or which one you purchased or you're planning to pick up in the comment section down below, as well as why you went with that specific phone. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.